Welcome, everyone. I'm really glad to see you for practice today. So let's begin by sitting comfortably in the camaraderie that we just had, this bit of like human logistics camaraderie that we had before class. Let's sit and settle in for our practice. You can rest your hands in your lap. You're welcome to close your eyes if you prefer. You also can keep your gaze gently down and kind of unfocused. As you begin to sense yourself in the present moment, let the experiences of the here and now be your guide. So right now you can sense the sound of my voice arriving in your middle ear. Whether your eyes are open or closed, you can sense the quality of the light coming onto your lids. Or the quality of light filtering into the window if your eyes are open. And the sensation of the air just lightly touching the nostrils as the air comes in and goes out. And coming down to a more dense sensation, the feeling of your feet or your hips on the ground, or whatever you're being supported by right now. We have sound and space, those are less dense than your seat. The light meeting the eyes, also more subtle than the sensations of taking your seat. The air at the nose, also more subtle than the sensations of where you're connected to the ground. Now, of those four options, I'm going to ask you to choose one to rest your attention on. If you've been up in the ceiling fan of your mind or the helicopter of your life, I recommend the sensations where you connect to the ground. If you've been relatively far from home in terms of not so much in your body, connect to the ground. If you've been feeling lethargic or apathetic or less motivated than you'd like, you might want to choose listening to the sound of my voice and the space that surrounds my voice. If you've had a sense that you must do your life, driving it forward, you may want to reflect on the light coming towards you, or the breath meeting your nose. Rest your attention on the one that you chose, the one tool that you chose, for just about one more minute, please. And keeping that particular tool in mind for yourself, you have 4 choices today. Of course, you have choices all the time, many other choices than just 4, but I just recommended 4 for today. Let's keep that as a little menu to the side of your attention. And please bring your hands to your heart. We'll chant Sahana Vavatu together. Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vivishavai Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vivishavai Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vivishavai Om Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om. With your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. And release your hands, and please open your eyes. So I'm going to ask you to recall the one mindfulness tool that you chose, so we can intermittently connect back to it and see if your relationship to it is deepening, improving, or if in the course of your practice your body comes a little bit less from apathy or from overstimulation, comes into a sweet spot, and a different mindfulness tool feels like home for you. So that being said, now I'd like to come down to the floor, please. And you're going to lie on your back to get started with your knees bent. And let's get see if I can find this, Susie. I got it. We're going to be working with the hips and hamstrings. So when you come down, please lie on your back and bend both knees so your feet are as wide as your yoga mat to begin. And you can take the arms out into a T shape like this. So if you think of the femurs right now like windshield wipers, they're going to be going together like we want the windshield wipers on the car to work in harmony with each other so that one wiper is not hitting the other wiper. So arms out in a T shape, please. You breathe in through your nose, down into your lower pelvis and abdomen. And then exhale both knees down to your right. As you come down to the right, tone your left hip, left butt, and press into your left knee. And then inhale, roll back to center, both knees, both hips. And exhale, both knees to your left. As you go to your left, tone your right butt and press it forward into the front of your right hip. Inhale, roll to center. Exhale, roll your knees to your right and your nose to your left. Inhale, roll your knees and your nose to center. Exhale, knees left, nose right. Inhale to center and try to go slowly enough that you can sense your knees and your nose synchronizing. And you exhale, knees right, nose left. Inhale to center. Exhale, knees left, nose right. And observe what it is requiring of you to stay focused on synchronizing your movements with your breath. Continue at the pace that is your breath cycle. And observe the moments where it feels like your body wants to rush the pace of the breath, or the moments where your mind forgets what you are doing. As always, you can just come right back. We'll do it twice more. So with your breath cycle, arriving knees and nose center at the top of an inhale, arriving knees and nose opposite at the bottom of an exhale. The next time that you come to center, go ahead and pause right there. Now cross your right ankle over your left knee and press your right knee away from your chest so that you're opening the pose here rather than closing it for the moment. And if you think of your hips and pelvis as now centered, I'm going to ask you to exhale, take your knee, your left knee, and your right foot down to the left, turn your gaze to the right. And then inhale, roll that back to center. Keep pressing your right knee open away from your chest. Exhale, left knee, right foot to the left. Take your nose to the right. Inhale to center. And exhale, left knee, right foot to the left, nose to your right. We're going to stay for a while this time. So while you stay in this yoga pose, I'm going to ask you to make a gentle kind of activation from the inside. So from your right low belly, that you're really lengthening into your right thigh and your right knee. And from your right belly, reach up into your right chest and heart and out into your right hand, your fingers and your thumb. Do 2 more breath cycles here, sensing particularly how you elongate into your knee, your fingers and your thumb. And then as you next exhale, roll your hips to center, bring your nose to center, step your right foot down to the floor next to your left foot. And let's pause just to notice your chosen mindfulness tool from 5 or 6 minutes ago. If you connect back to that tool, what is your experience now? So the ground beneath you, or the sound of my voice and the space around it, or the light on your eyelids. Or the air touching the nostrils. Now cross your left ankle over your right knee. So whichever of those mindfulness tools you chose before, I'm going to ask you to keep it with you during the pose this time. Remember that if you've been sort of driving your life, then the mindfulness tool of the light coming to your eyelids or the air touching the nostrils may help to bring you back in. If you have been feeling lethargic, focusing on sound and space may help to keep you from dropping away from the present moment. And if you've been scattered, focusing on the sensations, of the ground beneath you can help you to be here with all of us. So you exhale and take your right knee and your left foot down to the right. Turn your nose to your left. Inhale, roll that up to center. Exhale your right knee and your left foot down to your right, nose to your left. Inhale, roll to center. And once more, exhale down. And we're going to stay a while now. This is where you can really simmer into that mindfulness tool, the one that you chose. Whatever the choice you made, stay with it for the next minute here in this yoga pose. You can have a sense that life is flowing towards you. You can have that sense that life is larger than your own thoughts. Or a sense that the present moment is welcoming you back home. And as you next exhale, roll yourself back to center. Place your left foot on the floor. Please roll to your side and come up to table pose. So what I'm describing is a way of using mindfulness to return. And I'll just say so you can make like little cliff notes in your own mind. For those of us sensing the light or the air, the reminder is that life is flowing towards you. For those of us working on sound and the landscape in which sound is happening, we recall that life is larger than our own thoughts. And those of us focusing on the ground, it's a reminder that life is welcoming you back home to the here and now. Let's come over to table pose. You can spread your fingers wide and place your index fingers so they are parallel and the other fingers fan out from there. Place your knees a couple inches back behind your hips. And as you inhale, press into cat pose, gaze towards your pubic bone, and broaden the back of your waist. And then exhale and roll through your spine to cow pose. Bring your heart forward. Lift your collarbones, open your throat. Okay, inhale to cat. Exhale to cow. Again, inhale to cat. Exhale to cow pose. Curl your toes under. Inhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog pose. And in dog pose, let the breath now become deeper, smoother, and longer. But only do that if you sense that your mind is inside that mindfulness tool that you've chosen. So you're not caught up in a narrative of doing more or a narrative of not being enough or some sort of frenzy about the activities of life. Choose to deepen your breath from a place of mindfulness and connection with your body. And then as you next exhale, walk your feet forward, either one big step or several small steps. Step up to the top of your mat to Uttanasana. Place your feet so they're hip width apart, please. Root down through your heels and toes. And inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. When you come up, sense how the mindfulness tool changes slightly. Exhale your hands to your heart. Here we go for Surya Namaskar. We're going to be using Anjaneyasana, so let's put the 2 blocks in preparation. Here we go. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, sweep up. Exhale, Uttanasana, sweep your arms wide. As you touch the 2 blocks, bow inwardly towards your legs. Then inhale, glide your spine forward. Raise the crown of your skull forward and then your eyes. Exhale, take your left toes straight back. Touch your left knee down to the floor. Now, when you first come down like this, a reminder that the last few days we've been pressing into the arms to tone the cat pose spine right inside Anjaneyasana. Then inhale, roll up. Let's exhale, arms wide, touch the 2 blocks and find your cat pose spine. Inhale, roll up, keeping your tailbone anchored. Lift through your inner body, your heart, your eyes. Exhale, arms wide. We're going to touch for cat pose again, so you just keep recreating that internal sense of tone. Inhale, rise up. Blossoming upwards from the strength of your foundation. And exhale, arms wide. Last one. Touch the 2 blocks and press firmly down. So there's your cat pose spine. Now inhale, straighten your left leg and glide your hips backwards in your cow pose spine. Open your heart forward. And then exhale to bow over your right leg. Now return to your mindfulness tool, whichever one you have chosen to work with. Notice that in this position, if you're working with the light against your eyelids, you don't have as much light because the pose is downward and inward. If you're working with sound, then when the sound of my voice goes away, you have silence. And if you're working with the sensations of the ground beneath you, you have 1 footprint and 5 toe prints. If you're working with the air against the nostrils, you have a consistent companion. But the effort of the breath changes based on the kind of the pose that you're doing. With your next inhale, start bending your right knee. Roll yourself forward, come to your fingertips on your blocks. And then exhale, step your left foot forward and come into your Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Notice how the light on the lids is changing. Exhale directly down to Uttanasana. Notice how the experience of your footprints is changing. Inhale, glide forward through your heart, the top of your head, and then your chin and your eyes. Exhale your right toes back, step back for Anjaneyasana, so touch your right knee down and find your cat pose spine. Inhale, blossom upwards. Very nice, there you go. Good. Exhale at your own pace. Yep, following your breath cycle, touch the blocks and make the cat pose spine inside. Sustain that as you inhale, rise up. Use the grace in action. Very nice. Exhale, arms wide, coming down to your cat pose spine. So the hips are stable here. We do one more time. Inhale, float up. Yes, very nice. And follow your exhale to sweep the arms wide as your fingers find the 2 blocks. Now press down. Inhale, glide your hips backwards. Use your cow pose spine. So the hips go back and the heart goes forward. And then exhale to bow deeply towards your legs. So it's like cat pose in the spine. And we're going to stay for several breath cycles. So this is where you, again, bring your mindfulness tool into greater focus for yourself. Since each of you chooses the mindfulness tool that's helping to nourish your practice. You can't compare your choice to anybody else's. Notice how steady your mind is able to be. Some days you're noticing that your mind is bouncing around. I am seeing steadiness, concentration. I'm seeing opportunities for distraction, dogs and cats. But I'm also seeing your efforts not to veer into that distraction. So with your next inhale, start bending your left knee so that you're going to roll yourself forward and come to your fingertips. And then exhale, float your right foot forward and take the deep bow that is Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, hands to your heart, Anjali Mudra. And see if you can stand really still inside the echo of your practice. If you chose feet on the ground for mindfulness, go back down to that spot. If you chose the air against the nostrils, rest your attention there. Or the light against your lids. Or the sound of my voice in the larger space of your life. When my voice stops, you're listening to the space in which my voice is coming and going. And please release both hands and open your eyes. We're going to come down to use the 2 blocks and a rolled blanket, please. So with your blanket, if you take it and you roll it, take it open like this, and then roll it snugly, without lumps. We're going to place the blanket for the knees, and we're going to use the 2 blocks for cat and child's pose. And really what I'm going towards, I'd like to revisit yesterday's practice where we were doing some deeper pranayama in the abdomen. So what you're going to do here is, when you have your setup, one way to check it is, when you're in cat pose, you have your arms vertical to your wrists. You can see that with me right here. When you go back to your child's pose, you'll have your knees still on your blankets, and because the hips are reaching back, but the arms stay where they are, this is a very stretchy child's pose, not a passive child's pose. So as you set yourself up, keep those things that you just saw in mind. And please come into your table pose with your hands on your blocks and your knees on your cool, interesting, colorful blanket. And then let's inhale to cat pose. So take the tailbone down and sweep the back of your body up towards the sky. And exhale, reach backwards to child's pose, looking for a complete exhalation. You can close your hips to your heels if your body's able to do that. Inhale, roll to cat pose. And exhale, come forward to cow pose. Very good. Okay, inhale to cat. So we're going to be adding exhale sound in the next round, not this one, but in the next one. So we're going back to child's pose right here. Now let's inhale to cat pose and prepare that your exhale is going to be lion's pose. Here we go. Cow pose. Inhale, cat. Exhale, child's pose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale, cat pose. Lion's breath. Inhale, cat. Exhale, child's pose. A strong exhale. Use your Ujjayi exhale all the way to the end, like squeezing the harmonium to close it. Inhale, cat. And exhale, lion's breath. Now inhale, table pose. And exhale, child's pose. This time in child's pose, put one block back for your head. Please keep your knees on your blanket if you can manage with your knees, and place your elbows in front of your knees. So the pose is kind of snug. And in child's pose, take notice of what your breath is doing in your low pelvis, low belly, the sides of your waist, and the back of your waist. And then walk your hands back towards your knees and rise up to kneeling. I'm going to speak with you for a few moments about this exhale suspension that we'll be doing, and I want you to have a sense of it before you're confused down there by yourself in child's pose. So the thing about the exhale suspension is that you can't see it happening. You have to feel it in your own experience while I'm going to talk about it in my experience. So when I exhale to go down to child's pose, you're going to exhale completely, and you're going to squeeze the belly to release the breath. Then when you're down there, you will not be inhaling, but you will deeply relax the muscles that made the exhale. And there'll be a tiny suction that happens inside the belly. Then you will contract the abdomen before you inhale. You have this sort of rhythmic massage of the belly. So for mine, it goes like this. Here's my inhale. Here's the exhale. Now the exhale is going out, and at the very end of the exhale, I'll keep the breath out, but relax the belly muscles. Then I inhale to come up. And then I would exhale to go back down. Okay, we're going to try that about 3 or 4 times, see what you think. If you are experimenting, please do not cause yourself to feel breathless. If kneeling like this is very difficult, you can sit in a chair to do the same thing, coming down to a chair in front of you or a chair with a couple of blocks for your head to have support. Please support your head. That's very important, that you're not trying to hold up the weight of your head while you're doing this internal work. Let's try it together. Begin with your inhale. And then exhale and come forward smoothly and slowly. Place your arms like Sphinx pose. Rest your head on a support. Exhale, completely tone the belly, and then, keeping the breath out, deeply relax your belly. Then tone the belly before inhaling, and inhale smoothly to roll yourself up to your high kneeling position. And then exhale to glide back down. Tone the belly before you inhale. As you rise up, inhale first third, middle third, upper third of your torso and your heart. Here's the last one. Exhale to glide down. You're closing the bellows on the harmonium as you glide down. Exhale as completely as your belly strength can do, and then you hold the breath out while relaxing the same belly muscles that made the exhale. Then tone your belly and inhale to roll up. And exhale to relax your arms, your eyes, your mind. And rest for a few moments in connection with your mindfulness tool, the one that you chose. And see if maybe your practice is harmonizing you and the mindfulness tool shifts to the next level for you. Like awareness maybe of the silence between your thoughts. Or awareness of a place of refuge in your own heart. And what you can do is put the blanket aside. Please save it, rolled up as it is. Lie on your back. We're going to take that exhale suspension and place it into the original spine twist that we did to start your class. So this is getting you ready for your lunchtime digestion. So I'm also thinking of that. I know some of you are on the East Coast, so this is getting you ready for your evening digestion, which is a couple of hours from now. So please take the arms out into a T shape. So we've got the feet as wide as the yoga mat, knees bent. And let's bring both knees down to the left, please. Gaze out over your right shoulder. So now I'd like you to give yourself the full benefit of an inhale. First third, middle third, upper third. From the base of your belly, exhale. Exhale completely. As you tone the belly for that exhale, then at the end of the exhale, without inhaling, relax the belly muscles that made the exhale. In the little suction that might happen inside the body, lengthen your right knee and roll your right shoulder down to the floor. Then, of course, you inhale before you feel breathless. Let's try that about 3 times, please. So inhale smoothly, patiently, first third, middle third, upper third. You also take your time on the exhale, even if your exhale suspension is very brief. See what you can do inside that suspension, which makes like a little suctioning in the inner body. And you lengthen your right thigh and root your right shoulder. When you're ready to, of course, you'll inhale to roll up to center. And then take both knees down to your right. It's called windshield wiper twist. As you bring your knees down to your right, give a little squeeze to your left butt. So when you start in your windshield wipers, I think I might be speaking to Pat. I got to get my glasses on. It's Lisa. So when you start with your legs in windshield wiper pose here, don't bring the knees closer. So tip them down to the side. So the right knee is on the windshield down to the right, and the left knee is kind of in the center of the windshield. There you go. And then rotate your chest and heart to your left. And we'll try it 3 times again. So your pace, your breath cycle. You inhale first third, middle third, upper third of the breath. And when you exhale, be patient, but at the end of the exhale, with all that tone you made, You're then going to suspend the exhale and relax the belly muscles. Then you have to inhale before you feel breathless. Please do that twice more. I'm watching your concentration here. Very good. When you finish this third time through that, you're going to inhale, roll your knees up to center. And let's make the feet so they are hip distance apart, feet flat on the floor. Bring your arms down and pause all physical movements so you can just sense, all right, what's happening now in the body? What is happening in your mind? You can return to the mindfulness tool you were using or see if an update has been requested. And now reach for one of your blocks to place under your hips for a bridge pose. So the block is going to go on the medium setting like this. And you pick up the hips. Place the block onto the back of your pelvis. Tuck your shoulders under so you are making an active upper body for your bridge pose. I will describe so that just in case you only got set up a moment ago, tuck the shoulders under and the active portion of your upper body for bridge. I do want you to press your shoulders down. Press your arms and palms down, thumbs and fingers. Bring your shoulder blades into your upper back so your heart is well lifted. And bring your gaze down towards your heart so your chin can come in towards your throat. Now with your pelvis supported by the block, just take a tiny lengthening of your tailbone towards your knees. And breathe in from the first third of your pelvis to the mid-third to the upper heart and collarbones. And see if you can really sort of blossom open or parachute open the chest and the heart at the top of your inhale. Because you're in bridge pose, you may have more capacity for that right now. And when you exhale, use the low belly and you're toning the tailbone towards your knees, pubic bone towards your belly button. Belly muscles that exhale go horizontally left to right, from one hip bone to the other. And then press into both heels, keeping your upper body strong in bridge pose. Raise up off of the block so your bridge is now active, not supported. Notice the strength you need in your shoulders, your upper arms, your triceps, the back of your pelvis, your hamstrings, your hips. Imagine that the back of the body is supporting the lightness of the breath, the capacity your breathing could have in the inner body. With one hand, reach under to put the block aside. And then keeping your chest and heart open, roll your hips down to bridge pose. So you are arching your back on the way down. Once you come down, then unhook your shoulder blades. Rest your hands where they're most comfortable to you. Without trying to breathe, notice what is happening. Take both blocks, place them as a diamond underneath the pelvis like that, like a little triangle. So you're going to put two corners of the blocks near the tailbone. The edges of the blocks are on the edge of your sacrum. Let the knees come up and fall towards your shoulders. You may choose to put your hands behind your hamstring. So a lot of what we're doing in class today is really about the inner experience of your breath, the inner mechanisms of breathing. When you come to this pose, this is the one that precedes Shavasana. Let's check and see where your mindfulness is being requested. It's possible that the tools we were using for mindful attention now have delivered you to the shore, and a different mindfulness tool is being recommended from inside, from within you. Possibly the mindfulness of the breath deep in your physical body. Or perhaps mindfulness of the silence behind your thoughts. Using your general, just enough tone in the pelvis and the low belly. Please bring your knees up over your hips until they are just vertical. Yes, the blocks are against the sides of your sacrum. The little massage you're having right there at the sacrum, we're going to do just a few moments more, please. Imagine the sacrum resting between those two blocks like a gentle hammock between two trees. And keeping the basic tone you need, just the foundational level of tone in your low belly. Start to bring your toes to the floor. Press into both heels. Take your blocks a little bit wider. Place them right to the outsides of your trochanters. And come into Baddha Konasana. If you place the blocks right there at the outer edge of the trochanter, you will have some pressure against the thigh bone, but your sacrum will rest back and be cradled by the earth. Your pubic bone may be a little bit higher than those two hip bones right now. And it's possible that your lower back will rest against the floor. And close your eyes. And see if your mindfulness tool and your practice might deliver you to a place within. Maybe you become mindful of the silence behind your thoughts, even if there are still thoughts. Or perhaps mindful of the way the breath is now welcomed to your inner body. body and your mind to rest even more deeply. Gently letting go and letting go. Loosen the grip you might normally have on your mind. Relax your tongue and your thumbs. The deepest part of your low belly and your pelvic floor. We will rest another minute or so. Invite that to go even more deeply for you. Like shedding layers of habit or history. You may become mindful of the stillness behind the breath. The stillness deeper than thought. And you can bring some awareness to your body, and without having to move your mind, just begin to widen your feet away from each other, like heel toe, until the feet have a space between them. And then roll your knees up towards the ceiling so your feet will land on the floor at hip distance apart. Put the two blocks aside and notice where the pressure point was, where the blocks were. And feel for the absence of that pressure, while still keeping the deep low belly and the pelvic floor at ease. And then you can quietly roll to your right side. Come up to sitting and reach for your rolled blanket, please. Take a seat on the rolled blanket. Cross your ankles and place a block under each thigh, the outside of each thigh. Your knees might be a tiny bit higher than your hips, but your hips, we hope they feel upright and vertical. And when you come up to sit, keeping in mind that the mindfulness tools we started with were like tools to help you become more at home in your hum, in your homeostasis. Listen now for where mindfulness wants you to be. Maybe in the silence behind thought. Mindful of a place of refuge within your body. Or perhaps mindful of a quality emerging in your heart. Please bring your hands together at your heart. Now feel into the pelvis and low belly when we do the chant. We'll just do Om Shanti. And see if you have any bit more support from that part of your body. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Om. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, thank you. Namaste.